write down this website and go there and start studying. Where is it? This one. So it's www.fmriconsulting.com/Broadman/.
Can you do that one more time?
No.
Please.
Or you can Google search for Broadman, right?
fmriconsulting.com/Broadman/. It'll bring you to this page. This is an excellent online free resource. It's a free resource. Okay?
Like that word?
Now, if on the bottom there's a thing that says interact brain drawing, and you just click on that, it'll take you to a page where you'll see all the Broadman areas. Now at the very bottom is an actual list of the numbers. Okay? So let's say I want to look at the precuneus. Click on area 7. And then it's going to give me the, areas 5 and 7, you know, and what the associated functions of the precuneus are. Now here's where it even gets better. Mental rotation, right? Well, okay, what's this next to it? It's a hyperlink. Wait, what happens when I click on it? It takes you to the references associated with it, research associated with their finding. This is invaluable. So you can go through and start reading about how did they come up with this opinion, right? You may agree, you may not agree, but still, it's pretty compelling, and there's a boatload of data here. You know, you could sit back, you know, sometimes when I'm doing long flights on an airplane and they have Wi-Fi, I'll bring this up and start just going through one at a time and just reading this data, reading the abstracts. And, you know, it's amazing what you'll find sometimes. So,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
what was that?
I was going to ask who put it together. It's kind of amazing.
FMRI Consulting, whoever they are.
Just a private consulting firm.
Guess so. It's brilliant. I love it. So, you know, visual spatial working memory. I click on that. There you go. And so then you get more information. It's brilliant. Another resource is Wikipedia. But I wouldn't trust Wiki at face value. Anybody can get on Wiki and create something just like FMRI Consulting could. But, you know, you want to look at it. I found that Wikipedia actually has a lot of really good data. And so when you want to learn Broadman areas, that's another way of doing it. Now, I like to actually hold a book. Call me old school, but if you go to the aapb.org website, this is the Association for Applied Psychophysiology and Biofeedback. They have a conference every year around March. We move around the country. And I'm a member of the society. I attend the conferences. We've been to Neurofield there and whatnot. But they usually get books that are written by different neurofeedback professionals, and they post those books. You can buy them. I like this Biofeedback and Neurofeedback 3rd edition book. It's pretty good. But the one I was going to refer you to was the Thompson's book.
You just passed it.
No, I did not.
Okay.
Functional Neuroanatomy. Their neurofeedback book is kind of like a staple. Now, I got mad at them because they actually misrepresented Neurofield in that book. I bought it. I was kind of aghast when I read their description of what it was that we do. It's completely wrong.
Also, I had a question.
They've invited me to write a section and repair this, and so that's on the list someday. But you know, it's not my book.
They included that in the new 2nd edition book.
That's correct.
Functional Neuroanatomy.
That is correct. So in the neurofeedback book, if you want the functional neuroanatomy, it is in the neurofeedback book, but you're buying a tome that's this thick. If you want to buy just the functional neuroanatomy book, it has all the Broadman areas, and it's this thick. And it's much easier to tote around. Was there a hand up?
Oh, I had a quick question. In the neurofeedback book, I did notice something that it said, and I just wanted to ask real quick. It said that, like, for instance, the sites that are similar to each other, like, you know, left and right.
Homologous sites.
Yes, homologous. I need to learn the anyway, it said that the impedance had to be similar in order to get a better reading. So like if this one was at 10, this one needed to be at 10, or if this one was at 5, this one needed to be at 5.
That's
Something
correct.
like that.
Just
So,
like I was saying yesterday, when you get your impedance values on your QEEG, you want all the electrodes to be around the same value.
okay.
Otherwise, when you look at coherences and phase relationships and homologous sites,
I'm on this.
you want to know that everything's being measured equally.
Okay.
Otherwise, bad data equals bad analysis.
Okay. That's.
No, that's good. That's
Sorry, I don't want to get off track.
that's a question that's
Yeah.
that's an ongoing mantra around here. You know, so I'll be pounding that into your head as the week goes on. But this is another book that you can get. Another place for resources is isnr.org.
I also have some documents. Rodman area 1020 correspondence.
Cool.
Oh, that's
Sure. Yeah, I'd love to see it. ISNR is good. All sorts of resources. The International Society for Neurofeedback and Research. I'm a member of this society. This is the bigger society for neurofeedback. Their annual conference is in September this year in Orlando, Florida. While I don't necessarily have a fond liking of Orlando, I like the conference. It's a really good conference. A lot of people go to it. Some years I speak, some years I don't. I get roped into different things. This year I'm going to be facilitating a group on the pulse electromagnetic stuff and Neurofield itself. And so I'm going to select 3 speakers and moderate it. So we're going to do that. We vendor there. But again, another good resource for information, books and whatnot, if you're looking for stuff. All right. And I point you to that because I want you to start to learn the Brodmann areas. After you go through this basic training and you practice for a bit, and you're going to say, look, I want to get deeper into this. I want to get into cases, client interpretations, case planning, treatment planning. How do I use this in a different way for tough cases? When we have advanced trainings, what we do is we make the assumption that you know how to do all this stuff already, the nuts and bolts. And what we do is we tell you to bring cases, and we sit down and we create a think tank. And we throw cases on the floor and we start kicking them around. And we really get some interesting data when we do that. You know, we really get some good ideas because people bring in their own perspective on how to approach a case. And so when we do it in this way, you learn new skills. And then I teach you more advanced skills too. All right. So in looking at this brain, we see deficiencies. Okay? Low, slightly low in different areas, and slight increase in beta. There's a slight increase here, and again low.
So the balanced brain should be relatively green?
Well,
Not necessarily.
It just depends on the person or the case.
See, here's the rub. The brain is a multidimensional compensatory mechanism that has billions of connections. Okay? In one area, we're measuring it from 2 different perspectives. So we have to be real careful on saying this is a balanced brain or an unbalanced brain. All right? We're going to keep an open mind on how we actually look at that.
Okay.
Now, if everything is green, then it's suggestive of being balanced. But I've seen people where we've restored them to that norm, and they still didn't get better.
Okay.
And the reason is that if part of your brain gets damaged, another part of your brain is going to compensate. And so you have what's called compensatory mechanisms. Those mechanisms will fire up at various times to help another part of the brain to get better. So traditionally in EEG, we've always thought of theta, excess theta, a lot of theta, to be associated with white matter damage in the brain. So if there's a lot of red there, too much theta, that means the brain's going slow. That means areas are damaged and the brain has to reroute information around damaged areas, slows down processing. And so you see an excess of this theta. What the brain will do, if let's say this left frontal lobe is damaged, then what the brain will do is it will start to create left frontal beta and left frontal high beta to compensate for the slowing. Okay, so that's sometimes what we see is like this could be bright red and then this could be bright red. Now, it's kind of like, you know, if you have these two things doing that in the same way, all of a sudden you achieve balance again because the brain has reorganized its energy in such a way as so as to maintain balance. And eventually, it cures itself.
Okay, and one of the first brain